prolific speaker and academic leader. Dr. Santosh Kumar has delivered 58 guest lectures, webinars, and keynote speeches on various prestigious platforms. He has been honored with 20 awards from esteemed professional bodies, acknowledging his invaluable contributions to academia and researchers. We eagerly anticipate gaining invaluable insights from Dr. Santosh Kumar, sir. Thank you for taking this session, sir. You can start your session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I welcome you all for the day 2 session. It is machine learning application in health domain. So previously and all that we know only that data mining. So data mining means that we handle only that small volume of data. The data size may be in the KB or maximum it is MB. But nowadays that we are talking about that huge volume of data. The daily that we are using that WhatsApp. So in the WhatsApp that we are sending that messages or that photograph or that even videos, audios, everything. So these are all comes under that unstructured data. So normally that in data mining and all, we are not dealing with the unstructured data. So in the data mining and all, we are dealing only with that structured data. Madam, my voice is audible? My voice is audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So normally that we are dealing with that structured data. So structured data means it's in the label format. We know about the database management systems. In the database management system, in relational model that we are using the table format. So in the table format means it may contains that attributes and the tuples. So that attributes means it's a column name and tuples means it's a row. So likewise only that we are having that data and also that the data may be in the .csv format because that Vega or Orange tool that it will accept only the .csv format. So CSV format means a comma separated value format. But nowadays that we are mainly we are dealing with that unstructured data. So unstructured data means it is the size may be in the that GB or it may be that in the TB terabyte also gigabyte of data or terabyte of data also. So that kind of data we cannot handle with the help of that normal data mining tools, and also that we cannot handle with that normal SQL. So for that only that we require that NoSQL. NoSQL means it's not only SQL. And also the like that MongoDB or Cassandra or HBase like that software that we are using. And also that what are the algorithms we are using in the data mining. Similar kind of algorithm only that we are using in the that machine learning also. But the difference is that in the data mining we are handling only the small amount of data, but here that we are handling the huge volume of data. Actually, that concept of that artificial intelligence is that we are making machine to think and act as a human. So what we are doing now that for an example that we are giving that we are delivering lecture to the students so that students are performing well during that examination, and also we can make that machine also to attend the classes like this. So here the concept is that one machine is that taking the class for that another machine. So that is that maybe that in the next 20 years or 30 years that this definitely that this may come. Even that now also that in the WhatsApp also they introduced that AI professor. For an example that priorly that you are installing only that chat GPT or that any other that GPT related application, or that you for an example Google that Gemini. So there that you have to type and that they have to collect the content. But that now if you are storing that one number, so in the number that if you are sending that message means it will reply automatically, it will reply. So whatever that you are asking, that either it is technically or it is non-technically, that will give the answers to you. So that much that evaluations are happen. So maybe that in the future also that machine can take that another classes for that machine. So that is a new invention also. So normally that human as are learned from the past experience. but machines will follow that instruction whatever that human is telling. So for an example, in the arithmetical program, we are giving that input as C is equal to A plus B. So in place of that C is equal to A plus B, suppose that you are giving C is equal to A plus 2B means, so whatever the calculations are happen, that will be wrong only. So actually machine that it won't do any type of mistakes, but that whatever that human is giving, so that input according to the input only that machine will react. So that humans are learned from the past experience. So whatever their experience are there, so that from the experience only that humans are, that they are running their life. So same kind of that feature that if you are giving to the machine, that is called as reinforcement learning. So the reinforcement learning is from the experience that we are learning and we are doing some certain activities. So the difference between the traditional program and machine learning is, so normally the data we are applying, so we are applying certain rules to the computer so that we will get the some output. For an example, that rules may be that C is equal to A plus B means that we are giving the data, that input data, A is equal to some 10, B is equal to 15 means automatically it will compute the output will display as a C is equal to 25. But in the machine learning, it is the difference is that we know that what is the data, we know that what is an output, but from that we have to generate certain rule so that again for an example, if you are applying the real-time data, automatically it will give the output. For an example, that for an example that you are riding your bike. So in the riding that your bike, so while riding the bike, that you suddenly some obstacles came or some persons that interfere means that immediately that you will apply that brake. So here the concept is that your eyes only saw that incident, but how that your hand will apply that brake means, so that all are connected with the neurons. So in the neurons means that we know that what is an input, that we know what is an output. So but the thing is that we have to train that model. So that is the concept of that artificial neural networks. So that what is machine learning means that learning only, that learning means that humans are learned from the experience, that machines are from programs only. So machines can learn from the experience, so that is called as a reinforcement learning. So ability of computer to learn without being programmed. For an example, nowadays that we are talking about the advanced topic called deep learning. So the deep learning means, so whatever that situations are happen, according to that machine will react. It means that some that reinforcement learning concept are used in the deep learning so that the machine can act according to the whatever that input you are giving. So for an example, that one condition is given, for an example that you are showing that Aadhaar card or some other identity. So in that your age also it is your date of birth also it is displayed. For an example, I'm doing some project. So in that project, I'm telling that if the age is that more than 18, so then only that you have to allow like that. Or that previously that what happened is, so in the age of 21, if the age is 21, then only that I'm going to allow like that. I written some program. But that same thing that immediately that they change that it is 18 means you cannot that redo in that program. You cannot redo that. So for that again that you have to create a model and you have to give the training and you have to do the testing, and then from that only that you have to create a model. So from the model that you have to apply that real-time data, then like that only. So it is like that cycle. But in deep learning, the concept is called the reinforcement learning. So because of that, the system or that particular model will automatically that it will change that whatever that input that we are giving. And what is a machine learning? So machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence which concerned with the design and development of algorithm that allows computer to evolve behaviors based on the empirical data. So that Arthur Somwell that he only that derived the concept called machine learning. So it is a field of study that gives the computer to the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So in the Tom Mitchell, so that nowadays that we are using that machine learning textbook. So the Tom Mitchell is the author of that machine learning textbooks. So he is that he derived one problem that is called as a well-posed learning problem. So in that he used the three terminology. One is called as experience E, another one is task T, the last one is a performance measure P. For an example, without experience that you cannot do certain things. So for an example, that if you want to swim means first that you have to learn the swimming. So for an example, that I am purchasing one textbook, one book that how to swim. So from the textbook that I can read, then that I can go to that swimming in that sea means definitely that you will spoil your life. So you cannot perform that any activity without that experience E. So then the task T. So task T means that we have to perform certain tasks. So then the performance measure P means so how much. So it may be that it may be a performance measure that we can mention in the form of time or in the form of percentage like that. So for an example, that one driverless car is there. So in the driverless car, that suppose that I want to complete one complete rotation means, for an example, that in the round shape that the car has to drive. So for that, I have to give that complete instruction. And also I have to upload that what are the, I have to sync with that Google map. So in the Google map means so that you have to go like this or that, or else that I have to do some program. So in this direction only that it has to rotate. So for an example that I'm in the road that you can take that it's a double line road. So I want to start that car from the left hand side. So that my that I'm giving the task is that the car has to move straight and take that U-turn. Then again that it will reach the particular destination. So that is a task I'm giving. So for an example that the driverless car that I'm giving that certain instruction means, so I can measure the performance. So that how I can measure the performance means, so in that how much time that it takes to reach here, or that I can tell that without that any accident whether that particular car will complete the particular task, like that I can easily measure. So that it is a definition for the machine learning also. That definition is a computer program is said to be learned from experience E with respect to some task T and some performance measure P. If the performance on T has measured by P, which improves with the experience E. So similar one only that it is given. It is a formal definition for that machine learning. Then that what is the difference between that ordinary system and with AI? So nowadays that many people that they are talking only about that artificial intelligence, even that many colleges they started that courses related to that emerging technologies. Emerging technologies means that they are telling that it is artificial intelligence, data and data science, or artificial intelligence and machine learning, or cyber security, or IoT. So these are all that very famous. Actually, that the concept of artificial intelligence which was that developed in the year of 1951 by Alan Turing. So he only conducted that test with one human and with one computer. He asked that 20 questions rapidly, so that according to the performance that he given the statement does, we can make the machine also think and act like a human. So in the year of 1956, that John McCarthy, he is a scholar of that Alan Turing. So he published that one article in the conference, which is titled as it's artificial intelligence. So that if for an example that if you are searching in the Google also, some website that it will show that Alan Turing is the father of artificial intelligence. In many textbook that it is mentioned as that John McCarthy is the father of that artificial intelligence. Why means that he only published the paper, even though that concept was that it means that prerequisite is taken from that Alan Turing theory only. But the thing is that John McCarthy only that he published the paper which titled artificial intelligence. So now that the ordinary systems are there, so we are adding with it that artificial intelligence. We are using the different types of algorithm, machine learning algorithm. It may be the classification algorithm, or it may be a clustering algorithm, or it may be regression or anything. So from that we can get the three important things. One is that we can do that learns. So learns means that we can learn about that what happened. Then that we can go for the predictions. So because that nowadays that predictions are playing a vital role, even that in the IPL also, whomsoever the players are selected for the particular team, it is depends on only the predictions. So suppose that the opponent team, the batsmen are that they are very good in that spinner means that they will that other team will choose only the fast bowler, or sometimes that they are very good in that leg spinner means they will choose the player according to that only. So from that we can improve that, whether that our business or anything that we can improve. This is the outcome of that. We are adding that ordinary system with AI and added with the machine learning algorithms. So this is like a pyramid only. So the pyramid means that we are here, that we are talking about the data, information, knowledge and wisdom. So for an example, the data. So the example of data is, for an example, 7,200 or 7,240. So it is only that raw fact. 7,240 is a raw fact, but we cannot take that anything from this 7,240. So suppose that I'm adding with the context, it means that today 1 gram gold price is equal to 7,240. That will give the information. So that the data is an individual fact or figures or signals or measurements. So that I'm giving that additional context to that, so that we will get the information. So information is today 1 gram gold price is 7,240. Like that, I'm getting that information. So it is an organized or structured or categorized or useful or condensed or calculated manner. Then how it convert to that meaningful? Suppose that in the information I'm adding that meanings means, then that from that I'm getting that knowledge. So for an example, I'm having that last 15 days data. So from the 15 days data, I can tell that the gold prices are increased or decreased. So it means that I can get some idea, or I can get the learning or notions or concept. It may be synthesized and compared or throughout or discussed. Then how it will become the wisdom means, we have the knowledge, we are adding that insight. It means that, for an example, that I'm taking that last 1 year data, 1 year gold price. So from that I can tell that what is the next 15 days price, or what is the next month price. I can easily predict. So that only that I am adding that insight, so that I can get the understanding or integration or applied or reflected upon actionable, etc. So before getting to started these things, that we can see about that what are the storage sizes. So we know about that while using that microprocessor or microcontroller, we know about that bit, or we know about the byte. So then that afterwards that we know about that kilobyte, it means that KB. Then that megabyte and gigabytes and all, then after the fifth generation computers only. But apart from that, nowadays that we are having the terabyte of data, petabyte of data, exabyte of data, or zotabyte of data, or yottabyte of data. So terabyte of data means it's a 10 to the power of 15. Sorry, 10 to the power of 12. Petabyte means it's 10 to the power of 15. Exabyte means 10 to the power of 18. Zettabyte means that it is 10 to the power of 21, and yottabyte means 10 to the power of 24. So nowadays that huge volume of data is added in the repository. Repository means that in the World Wide Web only. So these are the three major things. One is that social media, another one is tech giants, then that e-commerce website. So social media means that every day that because that some people they are having a habit. So they are forwarding that good morning message, or only the typing that good morning message. Or some people they will download some photos, or they will do some animation in that they are sharing to their friend circle and all. So every day we are adding that huge volume of data. Sorry. And that YouTube. So YouTube means that during the pandemic time, many people they are earned by using that YouTube channel only. They are uploading their cooking videos, or they are uploading their comedy videos. Some people that they are taking some revenge, and that video they are uploading in the YouTube and all. Even that kids are having that YouTube channel. They are if you go means that they will tell that please subscribe our channel, like that. That there are many people they are doing the business. So from that also that we are adding that huge volume of data. Then that next social media giant is that Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. So these are all that adding that huge volume of data in daily. Not daily, that in the even that fraction of second that we are adding that maybe that terabyte of data or petabyte of data. So then that leading tech giants like Google or SAP or Oracle, that they are also adding from their side. And the e-commerce website like that Amazon or eBay or Alibaba. So now in India that Alibaba, that Amazon and Flipkart are famous, but in the UK, US and all eBay are famous. In China, that Alibaba is very famous. So one research is there. So nowadays that whatever that we are using the data, only 0.5% of data only that we are using for the research purpose. Suppose that if we are adding that another 0.5 data means you will get that $13 billion income for that particular 1 month. Only that 0.5%. So nowadays that we are wasting that 99.5% data, only the 0.5% of data we are utilizing for the research purpose. Suppose that we are adding that another 0.5 means that there will be income of $13 billion, 13 billion US dollars per month. They are telling that is the statistics. Then the data are categorized by structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. So already I told that structured data, it means that a fixed format will be there. So it is having that label, so which is called as a table. So the table which contains that attribute name, and in even that Excel also, Excel or relational database also that we are using that attribute name. So from the attribute name we are entering that data under. Next one is that unstructured data. Unstructured data means that we are not at all following that any kind of format. It is a unlabeled data only that we are using. For an example, that log files or video files or audio files. Then in between that we are having that semi-structured data. So the semi-structured data, the meaning is it is also similar like that structured data only, but the difference is between the structured data and semi-structured data is, for an example that name, for an example that we take it as a name. So name is categorized as first name, middle name, and last name. So many people, they may have that first name only or that middle name only, but maximum people, they may not have that last name. So in that condition, suppose that in the structured data means that we have to enter some value. For an example, normally what we are doing now, we are keeping that hyphen or that it is NA or that nil, like that we are replacing. But in semi-structured data, if the data is available, then only that we are adding that particular field. If the data is not available, means we are not going to add that particular field. Suppose that you take it as that XML data. So XML, that there is a difference between HTML and XML is, in the HTML that only that user defined tags are available, so that only that we can use. But in XML that you can use that user defined tag. For an example, that only the first name is available means you can open that bracket and type the first name and close. Then that what are the content. For an example, that Raju I'm entering. So that first name Raju, then that I'm closing that tag. It means that slash that first name, like that. So I don't have that middle name or last name, means that there is no need of that including in that. The similar way only the JSON object also using the JSON object with the help of that object ID that we are entering, the similar way. Next, that in this example they mentioned as email. So normally that email means that it may contains a to address, then carbon copy, then blank carbon copy, then that subject column will be there, then that body of the content also there. We can add that many attachment also. So these are the features are available. But suppose that if you want to send that one test mail means you can add only the to address. So from that you can send the mail to that any persons. So it means that there is other fields are not at all mandatory. So that is called as a semi-structured. But the thing is that whenever that if you want to do some project means that semi-structured data you have to convert into structure format, then only you can go with the completing the projects and all. Then the evolution of machine learning is that it started with the 19th century. So that time it is called as an intelligence machine. So then that in the year of 1951, that 56, that period only, that it is renamed as artificial intelligence. Then that we are in the 1990s and all that we are adding that knowledge representation, that genetics algorithm or that artificial neural, many things. Then that in the year of 2010 that we are naming, so we are adding that additional features like that natural language processing. So suppose that you are taking the chatbots application. So chatbots means that with help of the natural language processing only that we are developing, or that you can take that fuzzy logic or any other things. So it means that we are analyzing in the deeper format. So normally that in the result and all that we are doing only that what is our that result means. So you will tell that so in my subject I got that 96% like that. But if you're going deeply means you can tell that how many boys, what is a boys percentage, what is a girls percentage, how many students from the rural that they are having the what is the rural students are percentage, then that what is that urban students percentage, like that that in even that in the community wise also that we can do some analysis. So that type of deep analysis that we are doing that after the evolution of that machine learning only. So in the machine learning that we can add that huge volume of data. Then how it works, it means that we are giving that input data. So from that we are analyzing that data. It means that so we are doing the data pre-processing. So in the data pre-processing that there are a lot of stages are there. So for an example that normalization, digitization, lemmatization. So many things are there. So from that we are for an example that the what are the poor data sets are there, so that after the data pre-processing that it will be a perfect data set, then that it will send for that next purpose. Then from that we will find the patterns of from the pattern that we can do the predictions, and finally that we are giving that any feedback. So for an example that you can take it as that sentimental analysis. So normally in sentimental analysis that best example is that movie reviews. For an example that last week on movie we released means you want to see that particular movie means, then that immediately that what you will do, you will see that what is the rating of that particular movie. So instead of that you can do that project. For an example that you can download the data set, what are that feedback given in the Twitter or that in IMDb, so that from that you can collect the data. So from that you can do that sentimental analysis, so that you can predict that whether the movie is good or whether the movie is average or the movie is bad. Like that you can finally you can go, do the analysis. So in the that already told that the supervised learning. So in the supervised learning means it contains that all the level, so that we are doing the data collections. Then that we are applying for feature engineering. It is that data pre-processing. Then that we are applying that model learning. So then with help of that we are creating a model. So from that new data is added to that feature processing. It means that here that we are doing the data pre-processing, it is validated. So then it will give the input to the model, particular model. So finally, we are getting that outcome. So in similar way, that semi-structured data also that we have to convert into that that semi-supervised also that we are converting into that supervised. Then that we are performing that all the operations. But here the difference is that unsupervised, that we are not going to perform that these kind of operations, these kind of all operations directly, that we are doing that we are applying into the model. Here that we can only do is that we can do the categorizations. We cannot predict that what is for an example that fruits are there means we cannot predict that particular fruits is apple or orange or avocado that or anything. So only thing is that we can categorize like that all apples in the same row or same group, and then other banana are in the same group. So it maybe depends on that texture, or it may be shape, or depends on that any other property that we can do. Then that what is that machine learning, what is the cycle of machine learning is, first that we are defining that objective, then that we are collecting the data, then we are preparing the data, then we are choosing the algorithm. So the algorithm choosing is that very difficult, because that normally that what are the projects are available in the GitHub repository, they developed with the help of support vector machine only. So the support vector machine, it's like that user friendly, whatever the project is there that you can implement by using the support vector machine. But the thing is that you cannot achieve that accuracy more than 70%. So that is a drawback is there. So for that, for an example, in the machine learning the predictions and all, suppose that your prediction is more than 90%, then that application is suitable for that commercial purpose like that. So then that we have to do that two different types of operation. One is training the data, another one is testing the data. Normally in the data sets that we are splitting like 75% for the training data and 25% for testing data. For an example, that image classification and all that 1 million images required. 1 million images means it is a 10 lakhs image. So the 10 lakhs image that we have to categorize as 7 lakhs 50,000 for training data and 2,50,000 for the testing data. So it may be vary. So it may be vary means that 30, 70 or that 20, 80 like that we can do. So in the machine learning process that we are doing the two things, one is the learning, another one is the prediction. So in the what is doing in the learning means with help of the training data, we are applying the pre-processing. So pre-processing means the normalization, dimensionality reductions, or image processing, that what etc. are there. Then that we are applying to the learning. So that learning may be supervised learning or unsupervised learning, that minimization or that limit, that what is the sorry. Reinforcement learning, like that there are many learnings are there. Then that once that it is over means then that we are going for that error analysis. So suppose that you are predicting that I want to categorize between that good leaf and bad leaf means, so I can go for that artificial neural networks. The later that I will discuss that also. So in that error analysis that we are doing that precisions or recall or that overfitting, whether that it is overfitted or that we are doing that some tests or we are cross validation, etc. Then finally that we are creating a model. So that is a phase 1. In the phase 2 that we are predicting with the help of the new data. So here that the model is that we are applying that new data. So from that we are doing the predictions. So finally the predicted data will be available. So it is like that 4 different types of stages. First stage that it is acquire and prepare the data. Here that we are gathering and cleaning the data for the use in machine learning. Then that we are choose and train the model. It means that choose an algorithm and training the model. Then the next stage is that evaluate model. So evaluate model means that use the testing data to check the performance of the trained model. Then finally that we are going for the prediction. So prediction means we are obtain that predictions for unseen data. So that normally that it is the machine learning that it is categorized as 3 different types of learning. One is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. So for an example, that supervised learning means you are giving that you are delivering the class, that is also comes under the supervised learning only. It means that you are the supervisor, that you are supervising the students. That unsupervised means that the students are learning from that YouTube or some other resources they are learning. That is called as unsupervised learning. Then reinforcement learning means from the experience that we are learning. So for an example, some games are there. So once that games we are playing means, if suppose that if you made that any error means, for an example that you can take it as it's army games or some other that rifle related games and all. So in that games that suppose that in the game that in the particular level there are 2 paths are there. In one path it consuming that mines. So while if you are traveling to that particular path means definitely due to that mines that you will be died. So again that you have to restart the level. So while restarting the level, again that you are not going to the particular path, definitely you will choose the next path only. Why means that already that you got some experience. That is called as a reinforcement learning. So in the reinforcement learning, there will be some stages are there. So once that stage is completed, you will get some rewards. So rewards maybe that it may be that life jacket or some jewels you may got, or that some what is it, some type of that rifles that you may got, like that you can do. So in the reinforcement learning, that machine learns on its own. That unsupervised learning means that we are not providing any training data, but only that supervised learning means that machines are learned from the training data. So this is the example for supervised learning. So in the input that we are giving that grapes image. So we are not giving that only that 1 or 2 images. So we may give that some 100 or 500 like that images that we are giving. So that initially I told that what is the difference between that machine learning and deep learning is, we know that what is an input, then we know that what is that outcome also. So we are applying into the model. Finally, we are getting that predictions. If the predictions are wrong means again that we have to redo that particular operations. So here that annotation is that we are trained with help of these images, and then this is the real time data we are showing to the particular model. That annotation is that the what are that input we are giving, that will be grapes. So that final prediction should be it's a grapes. So that only the final prediction. Suppose that instead of that it is showing that it is guava means, so whatever that you are performed, that whatever that iteration you did, it is wrong. So that again that you have to do for fine tuning. So that is called as a back propagation algorithm. So here that resulting that supervised learning are the task oriented. So some of the algorithms are linear regressions, then random forest. So linear regression means that we measure that relationship between two or more variables. So based on the relations that we are performing the predictions. So random forest means that it's a group of some decision trees that we are adding. So from that you are taking the decision called as a random forest. So random forest is an ensemble learning method. So that is for that performing classification, regression, as well as that other tasks through the construction of the decision trees and providing the output of as a class, which is the mode or mean of the underlying individual trees. So apart from that, we are having the gradient boosting, then support vector machine, the logistic regression, then artificial neural networks. So artificial neural networks is only that playing the vital role in that many places. Priorly that it is categorized. Actually, Tom Mitchell that he developed the concept in the year of 1996 to 1998. So that time that artificial neural networks are added in the machine learning, but nowadays after that 2015, it is added in the that neural networks deep learning only. So in the deep learning that it will contains that artificial neural network, concurrent neural networks, and recurrent neural networks. So here the artificial neural networks are modeled after the human brain and they learn from the data over time. So they form a much larger portion of machine learning that is called as a deep learning. So next that we are talking about the unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning means that if you're giving that these kind of order means first that I'm giving that avocado, orange, apple, then next I'm giving that apple, avocado, orange, then finally I'm giving that orange, avocado, apple means orange, avocado, orange means. So that particular model, it will categorize. It means that it will create a group. So with the similar objects. For an example, that you take it as that the color maybe or the shape maybe. So that apple shape is the different, that avocado shape is different. But in certain conditions, that apple and orange shapes may be same. So for an example, that if I'm rotating into the certain angle means that that orange also it is like a round shape only. That apple also it may be in the round shape only. That if you are taking the colors also, so sometimes that yellowish orange that apple also available, that or yellowish orange that orange also available. So we for that reason only that you cannot give the data either it may be that overfitting or underfitting. It means that you cannot give the less amount of data. At least that you have to provide that huge volume of data. For that only that we are telling that for image classification, it may be that anything minimum we required 1 million images. It means that 10 lakhs images we required. Sorry. So in the case of that unsupervised learning, the data is not explicitly labeled into different classes. So that is, there is no label. So it is implicit patterns only that which identify the data based on their densities or structure or similar segment or other similar features. So it is based on that Hebbian learning. So the cluster analysis is one of the most widely used technique in that unsupervised learning. So some of the algorithm we are using in the unsupervised learning is clustering. So clustering means that there are different types of clusterings are available. K means clustering, the DB scan, then hierarchical clustering. Then that apart from that, we can do that anomaly detections and auto encoders, that deep belief network. So deep belief network is also now that they added in the deep learning. With help of the deep belief network that we can do that, what is that? For an example, that in the leaf, some disease are happen means we can go with the deep belief network. Then that we are talking about the reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning, it is one of the area covers that one of the area in artificial intelligence with machines to interact with their dynamics environment in order to reach their goals. It means that according to the situation that machine can take the decision. Suppose that I'm throwing one chalk piece to that one student means then that he will try to catch. Suppose that I'm throwing the duster to that one student means he is not going to try to catch. Why means that how much force that I'm throwing means that he can't measure. So for that reason, either that he will escape, he will try to that escape, but machine can't do that kind of activity. So the thing is that no one will teach that machine that you have to either you have to catch or that you have to try to escape. So further that we are introducing the concept called reinforcement learning. So from the experience, it means that for an example that in the single stretch you cannot learn that cycling. because that in the cycling means first that you have to use the three-wheeler, so then only that after that several attempt only you can train with that you can drive in with that what are the cycle tires are available. So even that sometimes that we may fall, we may get the injury also. So from that also that we may learn. So with this, that machine and software agents are able to evaluate the ideal behavior in this specific context. So with the help of that reward feedback, that agents are able to learn the behavior or improve it in the longer run. So simple feedback reward is known as that reinforcement signal. So the agent will be there, the environmental is there. So that according to the environment, that the agent will do some actions. So in the action, if suppose that if he complete means that he will get that he will complete that some state also. It means that level, for an example, level 1 is playing means. So once that the level 1 is over, that he will get some reward. It means the level 1 to level 2 state also, the state he will complete. Then that he will get the reward also. So for that reason, that only that cycle is completed means that it will increase by the reward is that t plus 1. Then that even that state also that it is incremented by 1. So the agent in the environment is required to take the action that are based on the current state. So that type of learning is different from supervised learning. So the mapping is provided such that model is capable of learning the correct answer, whereas that case of reinforcement learning, there is no answer key provided to the agent when they have to perform the particular task. So where there is no training data sets. So it is a very popular learning algorithm. So day by day that machine learning going to become more important and trendiest technology of the recent times. So that so a lot of new invention that we have to do in the machine learning, because that we cannot go with that old algorithms and all. So nowadays that we have to prefer that hybrid algorithms only. For that reason only that for image and all that they introduces that CNN, it is convolution neural networks. For an example, that nowadays that you are having that iPhones. So iPhones that normally that pixel size is that 256 megapixel. Suppose that if you are taking one image with the 256 megapixel means that size of the photograph may be in the GB size. So for an example, with the help of GB size photograph, you cannot perform that any operations. So for that you have to compress that image. So normally that whatever that algorithm, whatever that application that you are using for compressing means, it will spoil the quality of the image. So for an example, that you don't want to compromise that your quality, and also that you have to compress means that you have to go for the convolution neural